Hey, welcome to another math lesson with Mr. Dudley. Let's get this thing started. Just for fun, who wrote the song Sweet Caroline and sang it? Actually made it kind of a cult following right now, that song has. Let's get back to the target of the day. 1.7b, I can solve one variable equations mentally. Let's do this thing. All right, here we go. Solve this equation mentally. There were 25 apples in the barrel at the beginning of the day. At the end of the day, only 5 apples were left. How many apples were removed from the barrel over the course of the day? Well, I'm going to start before we even solve that baby by looking at this blue arrow down here with a little tip from Mr. Dudley. You'll notice that I've written the equation two ways. 25 minus the apples that were taken over the course of the day equals the 5 that were left. I also wrote it using addition. The apples that were missing plus the 5 that were still in the barrel equaling 25. My tip is to try to write equations using multiplication or addition whenever possible. This will help you solve more complex equations later in the year. It has to do with isolating the variable. Alright, but for this lesson here today, I'm going to be giving you the equations because the target is just that you can solve them mentally. So if you think about this, if he has 5 apples at the end of the day, how many were taken over the course of the day to equal that original number? That would be 20 plus 5, and we just did that in our head. And we're ready to move on to the next example. Oh, I forgot. Math must know words of the day. Solve, this was the word that will be on your lesson in the classroom, but solve is just a word that means to figure out the solution. Sometimes it freaks kids out and raises their stress level, but let's just take care of that today. And just when we see the word solve, just think about figuring out the solution. All right, here's an example. We did all these problems yesterday. I had you write the equations. Today I'll have you solve them, and I've switched some of the numbers around. My kids went trick-or-treating last Halloween. Tara got 150 pieces of candy. Connor got 200 pieces. If they got 500 pieces altogether, how many pieces did Casey get? See if you can solve that equation mentally. Okay, I'm back. I would solve it like this. I got 200, and here's another 300, and now 350 pieces of candy. I'd need another 100 would make 450 plus 50 more would make 500. So Casey got 150 pieces of candy too. Must have been kind of a low Halloween. Those numbers are low. All right, Mrs. Carruthers drives a total of 120 miles to school each week and to drop her son Declan off at daycare. Of those miles, 80 miles are to school and back. How many miles does she drive each week to get Declan to daycare and back? See if you can solve that equation. Okay. It's real nice to look at the labels on the equation to help you solve it, and that's why I encourage you to continue to label your equations as you write them. But again, today we're providing them for you, so I would look at this. So many miles plus 80 equals 120. So I'd probably go 12 minus 8 is 4. So 120 minus 80 is 40. So 40 miles to daycare and back. All right, one more problem here. Ricky Tiki Talk has 189 baseball cards. He puts them into a binder with the same number of cards on each page. He fills 21 pages. How many cards are displayed on each page? Now this is a problem where you would probably want to take and divide 189 by 21, but I can't do that mentally, and again, I'm encouraging you to write those equations using multiplication or addition whenever possible. So multiplying, I'd say 21 times something equals 189. Take a minute and see if you can figure that out. I'm back. Well, 21 times 10 would be 210, correct? And if we start subtracting, we'll find that 21 times 9 would equal 189. So you just have to subtract one set of 21 to get your answer there. All right, I think I got one more. Yep, the Sidewinders. Sidewinders lost 35 games last season in the Grapefruit League. They played a total of 100 games. How many games did they win? See if you can solve this equation that I've written for you. 100 equals 35 plus W for the wins. Take a minute, see if you can solve that. And I'm back. Well, 30 plus 60 would be 90. This would make 95. It looks like we're going to need 65 wins there in order to solve that problem. All right, I think it's time for the ticket to the show. I'm going to have you solve these two equations today, the same two that we wrote equations for yesterday. I started the year with Mrs. Carlton, that problem, or the pencil problem, and also the Mr. Person's change problem. So solve these equations today. And let's get to the just for fun. Make sure you turn those in. Sorry, I had to make a quick change there. Just for fun. Who sang the song Sweet Caroline? It was Neil Diamond. And here's a little snippet of Neil Diamond from YouTube.
Reaching out, dear Lord, touching me, touching you, sweet Caroline. Your tongue never seemed so good. I've been inclined
Feel free to swing along. Have a good one, Valley.